dobrodošli na zadnju radionicu BPC-a. Ovo je gospodin Jeffrey Treichel iz Kolektive i on će vam nešto reći više o svojoj firmi, o svom uspjehu i kasnije o svom poslovnom planu. Predavanje će biti na engleskom, nekad malo na hrvatskom, ovisi, vidjet ćete. Nadam se da će biti zanimljivo. Pitanja, da li želite pitanje na kraju ili?
Da.
Ok. Pitanja ostavite za kraj i to je to. Hvala.
Hi. Hvala što ste me pozvali na prezentaciju ovoga. Da, bit će većina na engleskom, ali kao što vidite možete me svašta biti na hrvatskom na kraju, tako da nemoj se ispričavate i nadam se da ćete nešto naučiti. Kao prvo sam htio malo vidjeti ko zna za kolektivu u ovoj dvorani. Ste čuli? Aha. Dobro. I koji je kupovao možda na kolektivi nešto? Aha. Dobro. Morat ćemo malo poraditi po tome. So, has anyone else in here heard me speak before? Because I've done a couple presentations at this university. No. Ah, one. Okay. Well, I was going to say there's a couple slides here that you may recognize, but most of this will be original content, so it will be new. But for those of you who, it sounds like you all know the business model. There's a couple slides that I talk about, just generally what we do, etc. And that's been used before. Okay. Great, let's get started. So a little bit I want to talk about, you're all involved in a business plan competition, or you're involved in internet sort of workshops and creation. So it's really cool to be in front of, aspiring entrepreneurs. I myself always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I always thought also that I would have to basically, work for several companies and get some good experience before I, tested the waters. But life turned out to be a little bit different for me, and so I want to talk a little bit about the story and how it worked out, because it's pretty interesting how you can find yourself all of a sudden doing your own company, and I'd encourage you all to do it. It's been a great experience for me. So this is the setup for today. Actually, you at some point during this conversation are going to be potential venture capitalists or investors, because I'm actually going to show you the business plan that I created and pitched to some of the biggest and most famous venture capitalists in Europe, Mr. Stefan Glenzer and Michael Brehm. And the result of that plan was basically a multi-million-dollar investment in Kolektiva, which helped us grow from a very small one-man band to a company that's now present in 6 countries in Eastern and Southern Europe, and from 1 person to 120 people, and one of the leading e-commerce companies in the region. So, we're very proud about that, and so the plan is highly confidential. So we're going to cut, snimanje at some point, but I think it'd be very interesting for you all to see, a document that actually had a result. And, there's a lot of what I would call, theory about what should be part of a good business plan and what shouldn't. I think that, at the end of the day, just seeing what worked here may be instructive for you, but by no means is it a template for what you've already created. So don't feel bad if the business plans that you're submitting don't look anything like this, because it's a little bit of a different circumstances. So I'll tell you all about that. And other than that, you might want to write some of this stuff down, because, for instance, when I finish this sentence, I'm getting rid of this exclusive 20% off code on kolektiva.hr, which you can use for the next month. So if you write down ekonomski-slide 3, you can use that on any future purchase. Oh, it's gone. All right, about me. I'm only a few years older than you guys, from what I can tell, and I wanted to just give you a little bit of background. My first visit to Croatia was when I was 17. Now, I don't have any Croatian roots, but I came here because of a friend of mine who was from here, and quite simply, I really fell in love with this country. At that time, it was right after the Homeland War, and as a teenager, I got to see, some very beautiful parts of the country, like the Gost, that were pristine, and also some, unfortunate things that had happened in the country. And it was very new for me. I'm from Chicago originally, and had never seen, a country like Croatia, and I was very impressed. I loved the people, I loved the sun, the coast, the food, beautiful girls, back at that time, and all the rest. It was a very interesting time. I don't know how old you guys were back in like 1996, 97, but at that point in time, there was a lot of money coming into the country. It was sort of a new future, finally a country that had its own destiny in front of it. And there's a lot of capital, a lot of Westerners coming in, and a lot of activity and dynamism. And so it was really just an impressive place to be. And that's kind of the reason why I said, look, I'd like to stick around here, learn the language a little bit, and try and figure out, if this could be a place where I could spend some time. And I'm really glad I did. It's really impacted my life in a lot of positive ways. My first job after college was actually at Dukat, right? I mean, like a local dairy company. I was earning a little bit less than 4,000 tunas. I'm exaggerating here, a month, and so I mean, I was kind of in the situation where a lot of you guys graduating college, may or may not be in a first job and not paid extremely well, and had to figure out kind of what I was going to do. But I want to say that there are 11 great companies here in Croatia that can give great experience. For me, Dukat was phenomenal. I mean, even though I could barely speak Croatian at that point in time, they gave me a chance, and I was able to kind of work my way up. And within 2 or 3 years, I became the youngest senior manager that Dukat had ever hired, and the first foreigner. And I managed the entire rollout of their product portfolio in Serbia when they bought Somboled and were going into that country. So there's a lot of amazing opportunities here in Croatia if you try and find them. And that opportunity essentially, the management experience I had gave me an opportunity to go to Harvard Business School, where I got my MBA. I mean, I went to a normal college and then came to Croatia to work, and they just thought it was extremely interesting and different. And so, I mean, there's a lot of things that, doors that can be opened. It's not because I'm super smart. I'm not. I mean, there's no way. It was just the fact that I worked hard, wanted to. I got some pretty senior experience very young, and had some ambitions. So I really think there's a lot that Croatia can offer. And the main point of this whole presentation is you guys have ideas, and there's a lot of people out there that don't, and that see the world in a very kind of negative way. And if you go kind of in the trams today, you'll see like a lot of namršteni faca, you know what I mean? Like just people that are not, I mean, times are tough right now, let's face it. It kind of sucks out there. So the point is, even though a lot of people don't see opportunity, if you do, I still believe, I truly believe, I suppose, in the American dream, or what I call the Croatian American dream. I think you guys can really do a lot. So anyway, I got my MBA from Harvard in 2008, and if you know that Tom Petty song, kind of "The Future Was Wide Open." Do you guys know who this is? No?
Thanks.
This is Peter Thiel. Do you know that name? Yeah, he was one of the co-founders of PayPal, which has just come to Croatia, and one of the early investors in Facebook, now multi-billionaire. The reason I put this up here is because he just wrote a very, I would say, a very interesting article, but very controversial. And he's saying that there's a bubble going on right now, not a bubble like the tech bubble in 2000 when people were investing like crazy in internet companies without any revenues, and then the whole thing fell apart. not even in the bubble that people are talking about in my business, you know, group buying and social commerce, where you see these companies with massive valuations, and people are wondering, geez, you know, is this just hype, or is this the real next thing? He's talking about a bubble in education, and he's saying that higher education, the kind of places that I was just talking about, Harvard Business School, and other, you know, paid-for colleges, he's saying that the value that people can get from these schools is maybe a little bit overinflated. And I'll tell you, I'm paying off a student loan from that school, and I've paid a lot, and I have a lot of debt. And the point is that, you know, when I graduated, I kind of thought, oh yeah, I got this great degree, I got this great, you know, name behind me, and now, you know, anything's possible. I'm going to become a millionaire or something like that. No way, you know. I mean, that's not the way it works. There's no entitlement. There's no nothing. I think it just comes down to hard work, and so this is the point. I mean, after I graduated, I was working in an investment bank, and everything was going good until this day, when I got fired. And I had, you know, as I said, massive student loans, and now I just had a mortgage that I paid for, you know, on a house in Chicago. I was like, oh geez, you know, what's going to happen, right? I mean, so there's nothing that's guaranteed in life. And that's kind of the way I felt. I was like, what do I do now? You know, just, I got to start over. And was looking for jobs in Chicago, and it's kind of what they called at that point in time a jobless recovery. I mean, if you go back, you'll see that, you know, the stock markets went back up, but employment did not follow this line, and no one was hiring. Everyone was very, very conservative, and you know, I'm running out of cash and thinking, what am I going to do next, right? So it became a little bit scary, and as I was looking for new jobs, I started to notice this new sort of advertising trend online. And this is one of the companies. There was others too, like Living Social and some local companies in Chicago, U-Swoop. But this is the kind of advertising that I started to see. For instance, here, this is today on Groupon. They have a $17 kind of boat tour, which if you get an alcoholic beverage on board, which you should, I mean, it's a fun experience, it's up to $34 in value. And you know, for someone who's got a lot of time on his hands, because I'm unemployed and not a lot of money, this resonated really strongly with me. Not this particular deal, but another, you know, other sorts of deals that I saw. And the point is, I said, wow, when I finally pulled the trigger and bought my first group coupon, I said, wow, this is going to be a massive, massive business model. I mean, here I am. I just experienced a new restaurant with my friends in town, and I did it at half price, and it was great, and I'd come back here to this place anytime and pay full price. So I really, like, drink the Kool-Aid, as we would say. I really believe in the value that this business model can deliver customers, new customers, to local merchants, just through the local merchants subsidizing the customer, giving a discount, and giving a commission to the company that's creating this advertisement. And it's a very, very cool business model, and started to gain a lot of press very early on in Chicago, where the biggest kind of company, the mother of the business model is from. And so I think another thing that I just want to mention is that great companies and great ideas can happen at any time. Take a look at sort of the timing of initial venture capital investments versus the NASDAQ index. The NASDAQ has gone up and down. Here, that's the first bubble I was talking about. You know, now who knows what's going to happen. But you see these great companies like Google and PayPal and Groupon here more recently, Facebook. It doesn't matter at what time, what's going on. I mean, these people were able to source fantastic investments on the strength of their ideas, the strength of their team, and the strength of the problem or issue that they were solving. And so I think about seeing that business model and and thinking about, okay, this is going to be very big. Can't do it in Chicago. Probably can't do it in America, but I have a lot of experience in a place like Croatia. You know, would this group buying concept work in Eastern Europe? And back then, I mean, and as it is now, we just discussed that times are still terrible over here. You know, the economy was tanking, and here this guy that everyone loves, Željko Rohatinsky, you know, I mean, they think he's a hero or something over here. You know, he's saying, look, man, if we don't structurally change our country and our economy, we're going to be in a deep, long, protracted recession. And it's gonna last a lot longer than what you're seeing in the West, and I think you see that. I mean, the markets have rebounded in the States, they've rebounded in Western Europe, in Germany, and over here, it's still a little bit tough, you know. So there's definitely some structural problems. So the problems that I saw, and that I believe this business model could solve, were very real. And if you take a look at today, you said you all heard of Kolektiva. You've probably heard of some of our competitors. I mean, a lot of our competitors, and Goran, I know you're looking to do something like this, you know, they didn't come up with a business plan. They very simply saw that there was some success and traction, and they launched. I wish I'd been in that situation, because I would have launched a lot earlier, and maybe I would be, you know, a bigger company. But point is that back when I was looking at this opportunity, and when you guys are putting together your business plans, you really should be thinking about, is this a right opportunity? What problems am I solving? Is there an opportunity here? And we didn't know if group buying, I didn't know if it was going to be big in Europe at that point in time. I'm talking about 2009, so a year and a half ago. This is just gaining traction in the United States. No one had launched yet in Europe, and I'd seen this idea and was trying to figure out if it was the right move to make to start this company in Croatia. So it's a very different situation from today, and you're going to see some numbers later on. You're going to say, "Wow, I mean, just totally different atmosphere than where the world has moved to." So what are we essentially solving? First of all, I consider my company to be, to some degree, an advertising network. And what we're doing is we're offering advertising solutions to small and medium-sized local merchants who in Croatia were locked out of the advertising market. I don't know if any of you have had any experience or internships with some of the bigger companies here in Croatia, or maybe the advertising agencies. Has anyone worked with like a Brukata and Žinić or a McCann? Where did you work?
Email Dalgildi.
I see. Absolutely. They're very expensive, you know? I mean, advertising solutions here are very expensive, and small local merchants. Think about a restaurant. Think about, you know, your corner shop. Think about a local theater troupe or a spa, a massage parlor. They can't afford it. And essentially what you're doing when you're buying advertising, you're paying for a creative idea, then for execution of the idea, creation of the materials, distribution of them, and then, you know, advertising time, whether it's on radio, television, billboard space, etc. And even something as simple as a letak, you know, like you know, like around town. I'm telling you, like, you still got to create the idea and maybe even put a discount on it, and, you know, get some students to put it around, and there's a cost there, and you never know if anyone's ever going to come to your store. So no guaranteed results. And when you think about customers, so the people that we are collecting money from through my business model, just normal people like you and me, hey, we got tightened budgets due to the recession, and like me, you were either laid off, or if you were lucky enough to keep your job, you're probably working 1.5 times harder because you're taking over someone else's responsibility too, and you don't have any time, and you're stressed out. You've got higher taxes in Croatia in the middle of a recession. I don't know if you remember the days of 22% PDV. Yeah, now it's 23. I mean, and who knows what's going to happen next year. What I want to say is, this business model delivers solutions, so we can deliver thousands of new customers, right? We'll create the ads up front. You don't have to pay for the ads if they don't work. And you don't have to pay for the ads if we don't deliver the minimum number of people that we say we're going to deliver. So it's risk-free for the merchant, but it doesn't mean it's cost-free. There's certainly a cost involved, and that cost is in the discount they're giving to the consumer and the commission that they're giving to me. In some cases, businesses can still make money, but mostly it's just should be considered advertising because the discount is significant, and sometimes you're not even covering your fixed costs with it. It depends. It really depends on your single deal, but it still guarantees success. You're only paying for the customers that come through the door. And then think about the pain points that you're solving for the customers. Hey, 50% off on great things to do, no hassle, and you pay less pay at the end of the day, which is an interesting thing. The problem was almost no one in Croatia at that point in time was buying online. So even if you see that this business model can resolve potential small merchant issues and customer issues, right? Maybe it's not right for the market at the time and the place. And so, in order for me to make the decision to say, okay, will I go into this business at all? Will I do this? Does it make sense to launch an online kind of advertising network in Croatia where no one is buying online? Why is the reason why no one's buying online? So I took a look at it and I said, let's take a look at the average Croatian e-commerce site. First of all, there's no incentive to buy on the site because you don't trust it. It's small, there's no great discounts, and you might even feel that there's a lack of transparency. So, who are these guys? Is it just some kid in the garage room trying to steal my money, or is it, a band of thieves, or what? If you're buying goods, you have the cost and the hassle of shipping. You got Hrvatska pošta then, taking your pošiljka and bringing it to you, and what happens if it's broken? Like, is it the post office's fault? Is it the merchant's fault? Who are you going to, ask for your money back from? Do you think you have a good shot at getting your money back? And those kind of things, right? I mean, and worst of all, a lot of these Croatian e-commerce sites, like you go on them and you finally find what you want, and then you order it, and then you find out they never had it in inventory in the first place. It's totally out of stock. They're actually buying it from someone else, right? It'll take 6 weeks for it to get to you, and you wanted it, next week. So, I mean, there's a lot of weird things that were happening at that point in time. Versus this business model, no incentives to buy. Well, look, these are exclusive, attractive deals. You're getting at least 50% off on every single product, and we're really being transparent. We're putting the merchant's price list off. There's no muljaža. It's just a discount because we're selling advertising. In terms of poor customer service, we said we're going to create a customer loyalty team. Customer loyalty team. We want people to be loyal customers and buy over and over. So we're going to treat them like gold. Fully transparent. You can see every single sale that's on our site. None of it is hacked. None of it is bull. You can see if a deal is good or not just by the viral effect. No cost or hassle shipping. I send you a coupon that you go use at a local service, and you use it the next day. I mean, it's immediate. And there's no cost to return. In fact, we have a policy where we will, if you have a problem, we'll give you your money back. No issue. That's something that was very new a year ago. Now other people are starting to see that it makes sense to gain customer loyalty. And so we said, okay, taking a look at these pain points that we're solving and understanding that what we're offering is essentially very different from an average Croatian e-commerce site, will we do it? And so we did. We launched, and we didn't know if we'd sell anything. But on our first day, we had 42 coupons sold. We were present in one city, in Zagreb, and by that time it was me, another founder, and a salesperson, and someone kind of inputting the deals into the back end of the system. There were 4 people. That was on January 22nd last year. And a couple weeks later, I flew back to Chicago quickly. I had some business to take care of. And I started saying, all right, you know, we're actually seeing some sales on a day-to-day basis. It's pretty cool. I should probably put together a business plan because we've built this. It seems to be working, and my belief was always that if we built it and if we could prove that we had revenues here, we could probably source some investment. Whether it was from angels in the beginning or from local business people, it doesn't matter. But I got to start getting a plan together. And on February 10th, remember I launched January 22nd, I get an email from this guy, Ivan Brezek-Brkan, who runs a company called Acumen Connect. He was helping us with a Twitter strategy and some other stuff in the beginning. I didn't know what Twitter was, and so I had to hire someone on the outside, but it turns out it's just SMS that gets broadcasted to like everyone. And that was a really dumb thing that I paid for, but hey, you know, you make some mistakes. But this guy's running our Twitter campaigns, and he sends me this message. Hey, Damir Sobol, osnivač upravo hvali evangelizira Kolektivu na večeri pred mini seed camp Zagreb. So the founder, I know you don't speak that language, so the founder of ISKCON Internet, you know, one of the biggest portals in Croatia, is evangelizing us in front of like a venture capital group in Croatia. I had no idea this conference was taking place, no idea who Damir Sobol was, you know, and he's talking about Kolektiva. So something was really working. And the next morning, I get a message from a man named Stefan Glenzer who says, hello, I just came across your site, and for coincidence, I'm attending the mini seed camp event in Zagreb for today. I'm very interested in that space and active with dailydeal.de in Germany and wahanda.com mob deals in the UK. Would love to meet the founders. Please let me know if that works. I'm in Chicago, and my partner's in Zagreb, and she goes, oh, we can't meet today. I'm in Belgrade, actually, because we're starting up there, too, which is smart, right? So he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. So anyway, after a little bit of back and forth, I agree with Stefan that I'm going to show him the business plan that I haven't quite created yet. And so I fly out to London, and I show him a business plan. Here's your second voucher code for anyone who's writing these down. This will give you another 15% off any deal on Kolektiva for the next month. It's another deal that we have on today. All right, here I'd like you to cut the cameras. Ramping up, and we got noticed as an innovator in the market. We won like the Innovation Award at Webstrategia, which was really cool for us. And this is the actual amount of money we were able to raise to expand. So we got a bankroll, it was great. And these are the guys that did it. And kind of very quickly, you know, what have we been able to do? We've been able to get to this region. I don't know why Bosnia is still red on there. I'm sorry about that. We're not there. And we've been able to sell thousands of coupons for merchants in this region. If you take a look at Croatia and the biz plan that I had put together for 2015, you know, I had forecasted we'd have 21 employees, but 1 year later we have 40 employees in Croatia. Email subscribers, we have over 125,000 email subscribers. We're doing over 1,400 deals a year in terms of run rate. And in terms of revenues, I can't tell you how much we're earning, it's confidential, but it is much, 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 much more than that 6 million kunas that we had forecasted for 2015. So the concept worked, leveraging the concept, and this is just Croatia. Again, we have over 120 employees worldwide for the countries that I'm managing in Eastern Europe, and we probably have, you know, I'd say between 750,000 and 1 million email subscribers in this region. We're probably doing, you know, geez, wouldn't even know. I don't want to say 10,000 deals a year, but a lot. And I really cannot tell you about run rate revenues, but we feel we have a very compelling story to potentially sell to a strategic investor down the line. So thank you. I appreciate your time here, and I hope that that plan was worth it, and that you take away some conclusions. At the end of the day, for me, it's just about what are you solving. what's the vision, what are you putting together, and who's the team that's running it. You got to convince them. And I wanted to mention that if any of you guys, I know you're all trying to run your own businesses, but if you want some entrepreneurial experience in an e-commerce company, we're constantly always looking for people to bring on board. We've got tons of projects that we're doing. Maria as well has done various things in our company, and we probably have about 10 students working very hard for us from this faculty, and always looking for more, so feel free to reach out, and I hope you do. That's about it. Oh, and these guys, the Groupon guys, are now worth like $25 billion. So, you know, it's crazy what's happened with this business model. When you create a plan, when you first started out, I'd always said, okay, I want to do it in Croatia, and we knew we wanted to go to the region. There's always a little bit of doubt, like, can we really do this? At the same time, we believed in ourselves. But, yeah, I mean, this has just been a crazy business model, and we're lucky that we chose funding when we did. We were right on time with everything. I think there's a lot of luck involved too, guys. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You saw the way that worked. I mean, I'm in Chicago, and people are talking about the business and then sending me emails, and all of a sudden I have investor presentations, you know. I mean, it was crazy. But we were, among the first to launch in Europe, and so what we were doing was innovative. We gave good thought to it beforehand. We had a decent plan, and we've largely executed on that plan. Nothing ever goes according to plan 100%, but, we're doing well, and yeah, that's the story. So, thank you.
Došli smo do kraja radionice. Ako imate pitanja za gospodina Jeffreya, slobodno.
How do you comment competition in Croatia? Because there are more than 20.
Yeah, there's more than 20 of them. Yeah, some are good, some are bad. I mean, what can I say? Look, I still feel that that people are looking at us and taking our lead. I don't know if they will out-innovate or out-execute us at the end of the day. I think we always have to be, a little bit worried and try and stay ahead on the innovation curve. And so there's a lot of things and a lot of opportunities that we still see. They're not being touched by local competitors. And I really think that the problem is, if you take a look at just the daily deal sites that I showed you, I mean, it looks like, oh, I just need to know some merchants, I have a website, we put them up, and I'll do sales. I mean, we have 40 people here on the ground, doing various things. We've got marketing people. We have 6 different types of marketing. We have affiliate marketing. We have direct email marketing. We have traditional marketing. We have SEM marketing. We have, what other marketing do we have?
Online.
Sorry?
Online?
Yeah, and just total online coordination, So we've got dozens of salespeople going around knocking on doors, I mean, we've got a pre-sales process, a sales process, a post-sales process. It takes people, I mean, and then you have to manage those people. And anytime you're managing people, things can go wrong. I mean, so there's a lot to it. That's the point. It's not anything that looks easy online probably isn't. I mean, it's the result of a lot of optimization. Like if you're going through a website, you're like, wow, this is really simple and easy. They probably have like 12 software engineers behind it putting it together just because they're testing to make it easier and easier and easier for the users. So so I think that's a lot of mistakes that people make here in Croatia particularly. What we've seen is that in Germany, there was a lot of competition in the beginning, like when we were starting. And then within 2 months, people got the message, okay, this requires people and it requires money, It requires scale. That's what's important in this business. And yet we have new people coming up every day. And so it's like, do they really get it? Do they understand that how much money they're going to need to compete in this market? Like, what you need to do to gain someone's attention with an email newsletter today? When we were #1, the first one, only one on the market, we were the only daily deal email coming into your inbox, so we had 100% monopoly, but now people are signing up for more services, and it's harder, you gotta compete, you gotta be better. And And so I think that a couple people on the market get it and have the funding that's necessary. I think other people are going to, unfortunately for them, die out very fast. And I just hope that they don't burn the market down with them, because this is an agency role where, if they screw up things with the merchants and leave a bad taste in their mouth, those merchants aren't going to work with sites like us. If they screw over customers and you can't get a refund or something, you're not going to want to buy from our sites, And so it requires, I'm a little bit worried about, some of the entrepreneurs on this market that are getting into this. I don't like what I'm seeing in some ways, so we have to figure out how to strategically, place ourselves above all of that and what we're going to do. But we obviously have the will to do it. So we're going to be here. I think the guys, the Kupime guys, are going to be here for a while. I've met with them. They have some really smart people on their board, but they are looking at us and following us. But they do well and they got funding, and that's important. And we'll see.
What do you think about Facebook deals? Do you see them?
Geez, someone just asked me that this morning. I said no comment. From a news, I just didn't have time to think about it, But you're right. It's a threat. I mean, they can become a big aggregator, and everyone's on Facebook. And so I think the question is, how do I become your destination on Facebook for this type of content, as opposed to you looking at it for Facebook. Facebook's done a lot of things wrong. I mean, like Marketplace, I don't think functions very well. This is essentially a marketplace, so we'll see. We have like 9% of the Croatian Facebook population looking at us, and I think we have an opportunity to, I think we have a good reputation. We have a lot of engagement. A lot of people are interacting with our site. I think if we are creating content and really keeping them there, we'll have a shot.
But what about this local small deals? I think the Facebook is making inside their mobile applications. You can, I don't know, if a group of people comes to a single place,
yep,
they can probably make deal in a single place at the moment.
And so the merchant can make the deal at that point in time through their application.
So do you think about some mobile?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all looking at that space for anything that is not, I'd say, regulated to some degree. So if there's no quality control, I think Facebook has a major disadvantage against us, because you can get, that woman with the navy beans on her stove, putting a deal on the site, and you're going to say this is a waste of time, money. There's no value there. I think to što provjeravamo svakog merchant, that's important.
Yeah. You showed the first deal that you had on the site, which was that restaurant, and you sold like 40-some coupons, but obviously you didn't just put the deal up and immediately have sales. So what kind of marketing did you
Absolutely
do before the site came on?
So exactly in the first couple weeks, we started with our marketing efforts like 2 weeks before we launched the site. First of all, we created like a radio jingle, which we negotiated radio space for on just one site, Radio Antenna in Zagreb. So we had actual radio play. We got everyone that we knew to join our Facebook page and then try and get more friends. We started buying Facebook display ads to a small degree, not very large at that point in time. But remember, I mean, like, I don't know if you were here during that part of the conversation. I was saying 3,000 Facebook fans when we launched was actually a pretty impressive number back at that point in time. And I think the real value back then, now I don't know, but we decidedly chose to use Twitter, which is free, but the whole point was we knew that, we thought about it like this. When I pitched this to my co-founder, I said, we have to do Twitter. She said, why? No one's on Twitter, no one uses Twitter, everyone uses Facebook. I said, precisely the people that use Twitter are the early adopters and the tech geeks and the guys that are going to be interested in the e-commerce site. And so I don't care if there's only 1,000 of them. That's who we want to talk to, and we want to be, very engaged with them. Those are the guys that are going to buy our first coupons. And this is a traction game. As soon as people see that this is legitimate, I believe that we're going to have a shot. So that was really important. But we did have some broader things going on. And we spent, almost all of our money, and then we finally got some more money in the company. And now, though, it's a very, very, very different game. I mean, it's all about search engine marketing. So Google ads, Facebook display ads, big media cooperations, doing things in a way where you offload your risk and you put the risk on the media guys and you give them like a revenue share. So we're doing very different, unique deals that other people have not done. And we're also building our own affiliate network, which means small, medium websites that are present on the Croatian market. We're contracting directly with them, and we're creating this huge network, and we're just feeding our ads to them, giving them a share of deals that are sold through people that couldn't come to the banners.
And to run those ads like on Google and on Facebook, you use Croatian guys or?
Yes and no. So I built a local team. The German investment company, they've created also a service company whereby they have experts from Germany that can run these campaigns from there too. We do a little bit of a combination, and we're testing and constantly trying to see who's doing a better job here. That competition aspect is also good, and motivates both to get better and constantly optimize, and do better. It takes a lot of what I would call rudarni, like mind work. It's a difficult job, but just because it's tedious, but it's necessary. Sorry, you first.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first one is, you said that only later the Croatian payment gateways introduced the debit cards. So how did that change your, let's say, your conversions or your sales? If that's something to discuss. And also with expansions to other markets in the region, maybe about some difficulties that young company face. So
for debit cards, we just launched it, I'd say less than 2 months ago. And my belief is that it will triple our sales. It still hasn't. And I think it's one because we've been existing on the market so long that people see us as kind of a credit card only company. A lot of our competitors had bank transfers in the beginning. We didn't have it for a very distinct reason. It's not transparent at all. The numbers that people show on their site aren't necessarily bought at the end of the day. Because think about it. Internet is all about conversion funnel, first of all. So you get a wide group of people, and then some people are interested in the offer. Some people decide they want to buy the offer, and then some people get lost through the process because it's more or less difficult as they're going through the different pages that you have to click through, and or the right payment methods or whatever it is. But as soon as you're getting someone off of your site onto their e-banking site, you have the potential to lose a big percentage of them. Also, people that are printing out in opće uplatnica, a money order, and then those guys, literally all of those guys, not all of them. A big percentage of those people, the next day they're like, I don't need this massage, whatever. It's raining. They're like, I can't be, bothered to go to the post office or the bank and do this. And so you lose a lot of those people. And so our competitors who all had bank transfers were showing significantly more sales on their site, which weren't actual sales, and they weren't delivering it to the merchants, and that created problems. But we wanted to be transparent, and so we said, we're just going to do credit cards and debit cards when they come. Now people consider us to be like that, and they're like, oh, they're not as flexible, this, that. But of course, we've said, okay, we have to maybe modify with the market. If we need new people, maybe we should launch bank transfers. And we did. And the good news with our bank transfers is that it only accounts for 10% of our sales, and we see a fall-through rate of about 30%. So it means that our site numbers are about 97% accurate, as opposed to other people who have a much bigger structure of bank transfers in their entire population. So for instance, I'd say our number 2 competitors have about 50% bank transfers, and we know this based upon the fact that we use the same payment gateways. We know kind of how much sales we were having versus them, and so we knew what was fake and what wasn't. You know, I mean, it turns out that the Croatian consumer doesn't care about fake. They just care about a good deal, and so even if we, you know, in PR we're trying to sting them and say, look, they don't have real sales, they don't really care at the end of the day. So we said, fine, whatever, we'll just do it to them. But so that's one thing. But I think people don't know, people that were on our site and wanted to buy via bank transfer or debit card for a whole year and 2 months, and we didn't have that option. We've lost a lot of those people to our competitors, and we need to reactivate them or let them know that they can get better deals on our site, and now they can use those payment methods. And so that's why I believe that getting new people who've never done one of these transactions before and reacquiring this group can triple our business in Croatia.
Yes, you mentioned adding tourist offers to Kolektiva Hire. And I'm just wanting to ask, can this affect foreign tourists? Because Croatia is mostly a foreign destination. It's not about domestic tourists. I know that, of course, if I'm a tourist and I go somewhere to Croatia, I can find something on Kolektiva Hire. But for foreign tourists that come to Croatia, can they use Kolektiva, and do you have any plans for that?
Well, we have all of our deals in English as well, but not in German, for instance. So yes, but English, as we've all discovered today, is like an international language, and so people can buy on our site. I look at it a little bit different. Like so far, what we've been doing is we've been sourcing tourism deals and putting them onto our investor network and earning money off of it, which is awesome. So Germans, Slovenians, Austrians, and what's the 4th largest group? I don't know, Hungarians or Czechs or whatever. Like, we have all of those people in our network through our investors because they run 30 daily deal sites worldwide. And we have 8 million people on a daily basis that we can advertise these deals to, and we do. And so we are selling tourism arrangements to people abroad and taking a big percentage of money from that. How we then get those people to buy on Kolektiva.hr, I do think that there's opportunity. We're thinking through different options. We haven't launched, anything yet there. I think the other thing is targeting diaspora, because a lot of people that are coming to Croatia are also American, Croats, Australian, from Germany, this and that, and coming back. And I think we can target them through our network, and we can also do independent marketing efforts through Facebook, Google Display, etc., with a lot of travel-oriented keywords, and we can capture them and let them know, if you're coming, why don't you get some great deals too? And we can do those sorts of arrangements with some partners that we've contracted great deals with too, like Generaltourist, or people that are creating these packages abroad. We can create interesting marketing solutions with them.
Yeah. Can you tell me what was the validation of the company before you get those $1 million? And second question, did you get any Croatian investors offers for Croatian investors, angel investors, or something like that?
What was the valuation before? Well, I asked for $1 million. We got a lot more than that.
Okay, how much did you have to give them in percentage? That's why I'm asking.
Oh, the venture capitalists?
Yeah.
A lot. I can't tell you the exact number. I'm sorry, but a lot. Look, this is my opinion. A lot of people conceive web projects and not web businesses in Croatia. And so I really think that the benefit and the key motivating force behind what we've been able to accomplish is having sophisticated, internet experienced investors, people that have created businesses like eBay, Ricardo, Last.fm, etc. And their know-how has been invaluable, and their money has been invaluable. And they've helped us build, a team, a business. And I think, had we taken the other answer to your question, no, we didn't get any Croatian
but did someone
interest.
Did someone offer you?
A Kupime offered us to buy us out. Like the first day that they launched, I was like, "Are you guys kidding?" No. But but they didn't know we had an investment at that point. And, you know, had we been in different circumstances, maybe I would have considered it. You know, I mean, they've turned out to be very successful, so it wouldn't have been, you know, bad maybe, but it was just odd on their first day. They were very, you know, gung ho. So no, we didn't get any Croatian investment or anything like that, but what I was really trying to say is I think it's necessary. I look at the world like this. If you want to run a company, think about what you're good at. Think about what you're not good at. You're going to have to hire people that are smarter than you in things that you're not good at in order to fill those gaps and to be successful. If you want to hire people, you need money. If you don't have money, you need to give something away. You know, I mean, so to get money. That's the way I look at it. You know, I mean, it's the potential to get a bigger pie, and yeah, you get a smaller piece of a bigger pie. You know, I think we'd be dead in the water if we had taken a local investment today, or if we had looked for, like, continuously looked for friends and family to give money. I think we'd be dead in the water. So that's why, I think it was your earlier question about how many competitors there are, etc. That's why I'm confident that we're on a good track, and you know that other people that are obviously not well funded are going to have a much more difficult time. That's it. Oh.
Yeah, you missed my second question about
Sorry.
about the expansion to other countries.
I like to talk a lot. I forget. Expansion to other countries, difficulties. Finding the right leaders quickly, and dealing with the issues of you've installed a leader there who is not that good, and then now you have to kind of do it from scratch. That's a big deal. Other difficulties, Serbia was extremely difficult. I don't know why we chose it to launch second. I wish we had chosen it to launch last. It's like the one place in the world where this concept is not working as well as it works everywhere else, you know, and I don't know what to say about that, except, you know, it requires the market to develop a little bit more, and I'm just frustrated with the fact that it still has to develop, you know, but we had big issues there. I mean, the payment gateway, we were talking about payment gateway earlier. They had one payment gateway provider who's a monopolist on the market, Banca Intesa, and in order to get a payment gateway with Banca Intesa, you had to be a company that existed for 3 years. Oh, wait a second, we just started, right? So no startups can get hooked up to the internet payment gateway. It's kind of weird, right? You have to have $1 million in the bank, and there was some other thing. You had to give them all these menus or whatever it is, you know? And so we're looking at this and we're saying, like, okay, we just launched like a month ago. We have a huge opportunity here in Serbia, and what are we going to do? You know, I mean, we eventually figured out a way to get it, and what we did was there was a provider, like the Banca Intesa was just like the financial aspect, and then they actually had like a tech solution provider. We ended up finding this out and just contracted directly with the tech solution provider. And when we did that, like everyone else did it 2 weeks later, because it took so long for us to figure it out, and other competitors were already ready to go. But it's difficult, you know. I mean, sometimes the ground is not laid for e-commerce in these countries, but I think that this concept is changing that, and that we, along with some of our competitors who are doing honest work, are really getting more and more people to buy in, and I think that the whole market is going to evolve radically, very quickly. Sorry.
Did you ever consider bootstrapping, and do you think you would succeed if you didn't receive any investment?
We did bootstrap in the beginning. We were running out of money really quickly. I mean, so
if you continued bootstrapping with no investment, would that be an option? Or?
No. It wouldn't have been. I mean, you have to invest in this concept. I mean, we were making some revenues, but wow, at that point in time, let's see. So you got to pay workers, right? You got Taycom, who was our payment provider. They would pay in 30 days. And so, like all the cash you're collecting, first of all, we were giving a portion up front to the merchant just to satisfy them. That's part of what the business model is. And then you collect on the end, so you have a big cash gap. No way. Bootstrapping only worked so long, and it was very clear that we had to very quickly fill the coffers, you know.
So it
Yeah.
wouldn't work for this business model.
For this business model, no, I mean, I think you definitely need an upfront investment that you're willing to put in. I think that a lot of, if we were just looking at Croatia and we're looking at year one and we're looking at some of the smaller competitors, do I think that they could do it with 100,000 euros or something, or a little bit more? Yeah, potentially. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's not the game that we're in. So we really needed cash to achieve our objectives. That being said, it depends on the business model. It depends on what you're doing. And I wouldn't discourage bootstrapping. Again, this game is about speed, being first, and having scale and having money. Without money, you're losing a big component. But that's really essentially what the competitive axis is for this business model. Not every business model is like that. I mean, not every business model is replicable. If you have a patent on something, or you've developed something, or a type of software that's extremely proprietary, you don't necessarily, need that. You have to forecast what your needs are, where you're growing, what it kind of looks like. And I think that bootstrapping can give a good, what I would say, if it can create a leaner organization. I'll be honest, that guy in the back that you guys met, he's pushing really hard to spend a lot of money, and I think that sometimes we don't have to spend that much money. And I think about, can we be more profitable? Can we do things better, leaner, et cetera, all the time? And that's the difference. I mean, venture capitalists are not going to give you money for it to sit in your bank account. They want to see it spent. And that makes it like a mad rush, like a big charge to go and do it now. And that's a little bit crazy, and that's why a lot of companies burn out too. So we've been lucky that we've had a lot of success, because we've seen other companies in this where just they do a massive rise and then just shoot down and it's done.
I think if you receive a big investment, it's maybe even harder to make a business of it.
Sometimes, they push hard. But so I think bootstrapping does have its values, but it depends on the business model. I mean, for this business model, I think you need backing. I really do. Sorry, there's one more.
You mentioned that you guys take 30% commission.
Yep.
So how do you decide exactly what percent you take? Is it just a matter of negotiation, trying to get as much as you can?
Yes and no. We look at it. I mean, obviously, it's in our interest to get as much as we can, of course. But it's also in our interest not to kill the merchant. To create a successful promotion for the merchant. There's a fine line where that works sometimes. So we actually work with the merchant. We sit down with him. We take a look at his cost structure. We try to make this like a partnership where we can do a couple advertisements a year and where it's affordable, and where we say if we're forecasting this many people, what is the actual out-of-pocket cost that you're going to have to fund food inventory or spa lotion or whatever it is, and we look at it because we don't want, in this business model, you've probably heard some of the negative PR of some businesses going out of business. Just because they're giving too much away at the end of the day, and there's been a rush on their business, and so we try and avoid that. So sometimes with lower price point, high volume deals, we want a bigger piece of the pie. With a very expensive, labor-intensive medicinski pochvat, we've had surgery on our site for getting rid of mladeži, moles and stuff like that. That requires a lot of materials and cleaning and this and that, so we take less of a margin. It's a negotiation, it depends.
How long have you been working on your business plan before the initial presentation to investors? How long?
I got some help on the financial portion for a friend of mine who's very good at that stuff. You can help wherever you can, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like that. February 10th or 11th, if you look at the email, was that, and then I had the presentation a month later, so a month. Sorry.
some people in Croatia, they very often mention like be very careful about sharing your idea. Somebody might steal it. While on the West, for instance, in the US especially, it's more of an opinion, you know, tell everybody and everybody's going to help you. So
It's a good point.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that one?
Again, I mean, I think it's important. Look, we protected our idea in the beginning, and there was no need to because of exactly what you're saying. Like this blew up into a big thing. We could have had advantages certainly had we been a little bit more open and we done things in a different way. I think I don't know. I come from the perspective that you should probably be careful about who you're talking to your ideas about until a certain phase, and then when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. Heisem, do you have any thought on that? Did you hear the question, by the way?
Of course, yes, I heard the question. It's the most famous question I ever hear when I do speaks by my own. To be honest, I have a completely opposite opinion on that. In my experience, being in this business since 12 years, it's not about the idea. It's about execution. It's about the people behind the idea. So I saw so many cases where companies launched even a year later when the business model was out and became number one because they had a great team, great strategy, and great execution. So this is my learning from this question.
See? Different viewpoints. Same team.
I find that marketing is a very important business company. So do you make many market segmentation? Do you explore about profiles of target customers? Do you have some strategy?
Yes, we have a strategy. Sometimes it's hard to execute upon that strategy in a business that's growing very fast. But we definitely are looking in that direction. I mean, I think it's very clear this business model is first of all grab all you can get, you know, go wide, and then later on you have to funnel. So. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your attention.